healthy mass production of food, especially mass production of chickens, where a large chicken factory can have up to several million chickens, all cooped up in very close enclosed corners without sunlight and in very unclean, unhealthy situations. And therefore, they don't have the sun, they don't have free range to walk around, and they're living so close to each other, cooped up and sort of sandwiched together in these unhealthy conditions, and they develop viruses, and sometimes the viruses can jump to human beings, which don't have the same immune system as chickens. So human beings get, as we see now, they're very vulnerable to these type of viruses that jump from animals to humans. So that's chickens, and pigs also are grown in the same way, and in very unclean, unhealthy conditions in what you would call factories. And the whole idea is just to make money. And animals are not protected, as in ancient Vedic times, by the king, because they're also living entities. They're also considered praja, or born in a country, so they're also members of the society, and they should be protected. Well, nowadays, due to unfortunate Judeo-Christian and Islamic religious doctrine, they purport that animals don't have souls like human beings. And this is a very, very wrong concept. And because of that, horrible things happen to Christians and Jews and Muslims and Buddhists also who eat meat, and to Hindus that eat meat. And we explained yesterday that of the 800 plus million Hindus, at least half of them eat meat on a regular basis. 25% eat meat outside the house. They go to restaurants and hotels to eat meat. And the other 25% are, and that number is diminishing, they respect vegetarianism. Of course, for devotees, we're not vegetarians, we're not meat eaters, we're prashadarians. We offer to Krishna only the things that he accepts. And of course, he doesn't accept meat, he doesn't accept liquor or any intoxicant like coffee or tea. He doesn't accept even onion and garlic. And if we offer sincerely, Krishna accepts our offering and gives it back as his prashad. So we are prashadarians. We're not vegetarians. We're not carnivorous. Let's say our diet doesn't have any flesh in it, so we're not carnivorous. We're not omnivores that eat some vegetables and some meat. We're prashadarians. We only eat transcendentally sanctified foods that God has accepted and given back as his mercy. So, due to modern industrial agriculture and, of course, animal farms, the food supply today is not very good for health, especially if you get into the wet markets, such as in China and the Philippines and in Singapore and other places like that, Thailand, especially Thailand and China, where they're eating what they call exotic animals. Well, that's a euphemistic name for horrible types of creatures like pangolins and bats and lizards and rats and snakes, all kinds of different snakes, and cockroaches. They eat these things.
So all these originated in Thailand, not in China?
No, in China, but also they have the same markets in Thailand and Philippines and other Southeast Asian countries, not only China. Yeah, in Korea, yeah. And they eat all kinds of strange creatures. They call it exotic meat, but it's nothing exotic about it. It's all disgusting. So tonight I want to talk about how you can build up your immune system so that it can protect you from all kinds of viruses, bacterial infections, and so forth. Is it like absolute foolproof, you'll never get sick? No, but if you get sick, your body will be able to heal rather rapidly and be able to offset the onset of such virulent bacterial and viral infections. Everything depends on your immune system. And I've written a whole explanation of what compromises the immune system. And then the 5 steps to maximum health that we published a booklet at Ananda Mela, and I distributed that information. I can, if you don't have it, I can give it to you again. So I'm not going to go over the 5 steps today. I'm going to talk specifically of the most effective ways to boost your immune system, right? And this is not for any specific disease. It's all-encompassing. So first and foremost, we have to understand about the acid-alkaline balance of the body. The body has different pHs. pH means acid or alkaline or neutral. So the blood is approximately 7 to 7.2 pH, which is mostly neutral. 7 is completely neutral. Less than 7 is acidic. More than 7 is alkaline. So usually to protect yourself from most diseases, you need to have an alkaline system. Alkaline system, there's naturally acidity in the body also. And becoming too acidic or too alkaline, you'll get sick. However, maintaining slightly alkaline diet is very healthy for most, for keeping your immune system very, let's say, proactive. So, ideally, having an alkaline diet. Now, if you follow my dietary suggestions, which I've given out to many people, and it's in the booklet, the Ananda Mela booklet, you'll be mostly on an alkaline diet. So, but just to summarize that, I also gave out this sheet which explains dietary suggestions, and it has recipes also. So basically, it's eating oatmeal in the morning without sugar, but sweetening it with dates, raisins, and ripe bananas. And you cook it hopefully in high quality milk, or you can cook it in filtered water. And then add the the dates, the raisins, the bananas, and the oats, of course. And it cooks rather quickly. If you have quick cooking oats, in a half an hour or less, they cook. And you can also, if you want, add some honey, but you don't have to if you put enough dates and raisins and ripe bananas. And you can add some cinnamon, which is very good for the health. and maximum health is using, ahimsa milk. And then you can have side dishes of fresh fruits also. And that's your breakfast. And then for lunch, I recommend quinoa or brown rice, organic brown rice, organic quinoa, or organic amaranth. And cooked vegetables and yogurt. Right? And for dinner, I recommend a soup called dalma, which has yellow split mung dal, mixed vegetables, and so forth. Anyway, you have the recipe, and again, only cooking with filtered water. And we have a very good filtering system downstairs. If you need to get some water, you can. And that includes, potatoes with the skin, daikon radish, red bell peppers, which have a lot of vitamin C, tomatoes, and but it's important to use yellow split mung dal because it cooks very quickly and is highly nutritious. It's a powerful protein. And then spinach, cabbage, and cilantro, turmeric, ginger, and Himalayan pink salt, hing or asafoetida, a little bit of ghee or olive oil, and you can have a side dish of a tossed salad. So that would keep you on a alkaline diet. And then I recommend taking Triphala at night, at least one or two, or at least 1 tablespoon, or you can get capsules, and also Trikatu after every meal, which helps your digestion and blood circulation and many good things that it does. And also, now I'm going to give some extra things now that will really boost your immune system along with this diet. And that is, first of all, in order to really maintain an alkaline, let's say, environment in your body. Now, for example, as I said, the blood it should be slightly alkaline. If it becomes acidic, you'll get many health problems. If it becomes too alkaline, you also get many health problems. So to keep that balance, I suggest including seaweed, organic seaweeds, in your diet. Now, I have certified organic seaweed powder. Either you can add it to your food or you can get it with capsules. Like, for example, one lady in our congregation, Vijay Raman, she's been taking these seaweeds for the last 2 years. And without them, she has a tendency to get sick. By taking them regularly, she doesn't get sick at all. Right? So, because it alkalizes your whole system, really, even on the cellular level. Now, we do have acid naturally in the digestive tract. It's called hydrochloric acid. Now, hydrochloric acid is very potent, and if you eat too much junk food and you confuse your stomach, you end up with acid reflux, where that acidity comes up into your esophagus and burns. And that can cause many serious problems. It can cause, ulcers. It can cause deformation of the intestinal tract, and it can cause, as acid reflux, if it burns your esophagus, it can completely, it causes bloating, it causes difficulty breathing, etc. It can cause many, many problems. So the seaweed is a natural antacid, and it will almost immediately stop acid reflux. To stop acid reflux, you would have to follow the alkaline diet. But however, there are many balances in the body based on acid and and base. For example, the saliva is normally slightly alkaline. But if you drink coffee or tea, or if you eat a lot of fruits and don't brush your teeth or rinse your mouth with alkaline solutions, in other words, number one, you'll get cavities. And number two, you will get an acid residue in the intestines that goes into your bloodstream. And it throws off the pH of the blood. And then all kinds of problems happen. Like number one, it can attack the collagen matrix of the veins, arteries, and capillaries. And they become less elastic. They get injured. Number two, there's always a balance between sodium and potassium between the plasma system of the body and the blood system that's in veins. And the plasma sort of is adjacent to the blood vessels, but it doesn't have any vessels, like blood vessels or capillaries or arteries. But it's held in balance through sodium, potassium. So seaweed has natural potassium, natural magnesium, and natural manganese, and natural so many different things, and so many different minerals, up to 80 minerals in my seaweed mix, which is made of 4 different seaweeds. There are red seaweeds, brown seaweeds, and blue seaweeds. So I have a mix of all of them. So you get a full spectrum of minerals in this mix. So when there's an imbalance, then you start getting swelling in the body. And swelling causes pain. So by taking the seaweed, it balances off these different relationships between minerals in the body, because seaweed is a gigantic mineral supplement. But it's a natural mineral supplement. See, sometimes people take mineral supplements that are not organic. They're mineral only. See, when a plant will absorb minerals from the earth, but they become mixed in with water, and then they're bonded in molecules in the plant. And when you eat it, your body can easily digest it. Whereas if you just take minerals, very little is digested by the body or absorbed by the body. It'll just go in and out of your body. So you want to get organic minerals. And seaweed is an ideal source of natural organic minerals. Otherwise, you can take calcium carbonate. Okay, well, the original source of calcium carbonate are shells of different, aquatics. So you could, in one sense, consider it to be a natural source, which it is. But it is not easily absorbable by the body. You absorb some of it, but not a lot of it. Right? But when you take something like seaweed, your body can easily absorb the calcium and the potassium and magnesium and the manganese and the iron and the all the different vitamins, B12, B6, etc. It's all in seaweed. Why? Because all the rivers of the world empty into the ocean, and therefore, and they bring down the minerals from the mountains, and the ocean plants, the seaweeds, they absorb them, and they render them organic. So you have forests, gigantic forests of seaweed in the oceans. So that's where the most nutritious food is. Now, of course, seaweeds taste and smells a little fishy, right? It's not fishy, but it's not a fish, but it is grown in the same salt water environment. So when you get the dry powder that's dried, naturally and then powdered, no other processing is done, you get it in a form that is easily digestible. Otherwise, if you buy a natural seaweed and you eat it, you probably wouldn't like the taste at all. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So then, and then if you want to have an alkaline system, you follow the alkaline diet and you take seaweed capsules. Then your body will be at a maximum, let's say, level of proactive, natural, what you would call immune system response to whatever outside influences come into the body. Now, the second major thing to boost the body immune system is oxygen. Oxygen is the number one food or number one thing that we need. Like we can go maybe 60, 80, 100 days without eating and then die. You can go maybe 7, 10, maybe 16 days without drinking water before you die. You can't even go 1 minute or 2 minutes without oxygen and you'll die. So oxygen is the number one, let's call it, need of the body. And usually people, just like in many of these viruses, your sinuses get blocked. It's hard to breathe through the nose, so you start breathing through the mouth, and then sometimes the esophagus also gets choked up, and then you can't breathe, and you'll die. You see. So the oxygen won't enter into your bloodstream, and when there's less oxygen to the heart, you get a heart attack. There's less oxygen to the brain, you get a stroke. There's extra oxygen to some part of the body, you get cancer. Cancer grows in an oxygen-depleted area of the body, where there's blockage of the blood circulation. So this need for oxygen is very important. Now, one way to put more oxygen in your body, of course, is by walking, especially in forested places, forested areas where there's not too much contamination of car exhaust and factory exhaust and etc., where you have rivers or streams, and you have waterfalls, and you have a lot of greenery. The plants absorb carbon monoxide and they give out oxygen. So that's one way to get more oxygen into your blood, especially walking up hills. So it makes you breathe heavier. Usually, if you're on a computer all day long, you're not taking full breaths, right? Because maybe your back is a little bent over, and you're not really meditating on breathing. So you're not using the full power or the full extent of your lungs. But if you go walking, especially up hills, you start breathing more heavily, and if you keep your back straight and you have 2 walking sticks like this, and also you're opening up your lungs and you're breathing, so that's very good. However, most people, they try to do these things. I mean, working out in a gym where there's a lot of people is not very good. Yeah, the air quality and the sweat and people sneezing, coughing, it's not very healthy. And going to the steam room where everybody else is sweating also, it's not very healthy at all. It's a great place to catch all kinds of bacteria and germs and things like that. So, taking a hydrogen peroxide bath with 35% food-grade hydrogen peroxide is one of the best ways and non-invasive ways to put oxygen into your body and to build up your immune system. So, but 35% food-grade hydrogen peroxide is a potentially dangerous product because it looks exactly like water. It has no taste. but it can completely burn your esophagus and your stomach and everything, or if you get it in your eyes, it could make you blind. So you have to be careful with it, just as you're careful with Clorox. But there's a difference, because Clorox can release, when it comes in contact with acid, chlorine gas, which can kill you. But when hydrogen peroxide, which is H2O3, when you use it, it becomes H2O, which is water. So it doesn't give off a toxic ingredient that could hurt you. But if you take it directly, it can hurt you. Right? So you have to be careful. So you would use 8 ounces maximum of hydrogen peroxide in a full bathtub of water. And then you soak in it, and you're breathing in, and also through osmosis, the oxygen enters into your bloodstream. It's extremely effective for healing and also making your immune system much stronger. So here are 2 relatively very inexpensive things that can almost immediately alkalize your body and oxygenate your bloodstream. Now, the third thing that is very effective also is probiotic bacteria. There's antibiotic and there's probiotic. So the antibiotic kill things, but they're usually very effective for killing everything, good and bad bacteria. But Jai Shishirada Nilamadava Ki Jai. But probiotic bacteria is necessary for good digestion and for protection of the immune system, and also it has a positive effect on the brain and energy levels in the body. And so we do get probiotic bacteria by eating yogurt. Any cultured food. It could be yogurt, it could be sauerkraut, it could be kombucha, it could be different fermented things that the Japanese make. They have different fermented products that they sell in the Japanese stores. Or you can purchase probiotic bacteria in health food stores. They're usually very expensive. Or you can make it yourself at home by learning. I mean, I've taught people how to make sauerkraut and other naturally fermented foods. So now we have seaweed, you have the oxygen. Those are the 2 easiest things. And then we have the probiotic bacteria. Now there's a 4th thing. Again, this 4th thing you can also get very inexpensively. There's sprouts. Because sprouts have digestive enzymes. So when you have digestive enzymes, your body doesn't have to make them. Your body makes 3 types of enzymes: digestive, metabolic, and oxidative enzymes. So if your body is not preoccupied with making digestive enzymes because you're eating them with your food in the form of sprouts, then it can focus more on the oxidative and metabolic. Metabolic means transforming food into, breaking down the foods you eat into more simple sugars, like glucose, which is the simplest sugar that nourishes every cell of your body. So if you go to a hospital and you're being intravenously fed with these tubes, what's coming into your bloodstream is glucose. Yeah. But your body naturally makes glucose by breaking down the complex carbohydrates. That's why in my dietary suggestions, I suggest separating carbohydrate meal from a protein meal. That way you don't confuse the body or the stomach Just imagine, like, let's say you have dal, rice, sabji, roti, and you can also have an idli or dosa, all these things, right? So instead of eating it, just put it into a bowl and mix it all up. And then look at it. That's what's going into your stomach, you see? And the stomach and your body gets confused because, like, you take an animal, like a lion or a tiger, they only eat meat, right? So, and they have a lot of hydrochloric acid, and they have canine teeth, and their teeth break up the meat quickly, and they have a very short digestive tract, and they have these strong acids, and they're not eating, pies and cakes and coffee and all kinds of other things, potato chips, along with the meat, right? But we will mix a lot of things, right? And and you don't see it in your stomach, but if you put it in a bowl and look at it and sort of mash it all up, look at it, it's horrible. You see? And that's why people have digestive problems. So it's better to eat very simple diet and not mixing it all up. Carbohydrates, proteins, and sugars at the same meal, because you'll just confuse your stomach and eventually you get acid reflux. Okay, so now we have seaweed, oxygen, probiotics, sprouts for digestive enzymes, and the alkaline diet. And the other thing is not snacking between meals. Even if you eat junk food, but don't snack between meals and only eat in 4 or 5 hour intervals, you'll still be healthy. Even eating junk. That's why some people, all their life, they've been eating meat, and they've been eating eggs and onions and garlic and drinking whiskey and smoking, but they're regulated, right? They only eat a breakfast and then a lunch and a dinner, usually at the same time. At same times, like say, they eat a breakfast at 8 o'clock in the morning, they eat a lunch at 12:30, 1 o'clock, they eat a dinner, let's say, at 5 o'clock, and they go to bed at 10 o'clock. They're healthy, even though they ate junk. Because they're not eating like 10 o'clock at night or 9 o'clock at night. They're eating 5 o'clock at night in the late afternoon. That's their last meal. So by 10 o'clock, they've digested, even though it's horrible stuff. That's it. Well, eventually it gets to them if they're mixing up coffee and meat and pies and cakes and all that, and pizzas, and they eventually get very sick. But if they're eating simple food, like a farmer, they eat mostly simple food, even though they eat meat, they're usually healthy their whole life. So eating at regular intervals, at least 4 to 5 hours, and not snacking between meals. Nowadays, people snack all day long. It ruins your digestion. See? Okay, so that's 5 things, right? 5 things we discussed. But the 2 things that are immediate and not expensive are the seaweed and the hydrogen peroxide bath. And sprouts, well, you can make sprouts very easily. And the probiotics, well, you can make your own or you have to buy them. And finally, eating at regular intervals. Now, another thing that's very helpful is bathing at least 2 or 3 times a day. That's also very helpful for the immune system. And there are ways to have a medicinal bath. So, a medicinal bath is when you don't use soap, but you use a mixture of Epsom salt, regular salt, and oil. mustard oil or any decent vegetable oil, and you exfoliate your body with it. Exfoliate means it's a slightly abrasive, so it tears, not tears, but it cleans away the grease and grime and opens up the pores, especially if you froth the body with it. And then you wash it away. So, and then the next thing is sweating after you do that. Now I have a system where you don't have to have a sauna. You can sweat in your bathtub. If you want me, I can give you my pamphlet on it, and you can use your bathtub as a sauna. Or if you have a sauna, then you don't have to do it. But sweating is extremely important because the number one eliminative organ of the body is the skin. It's not the anus, it's not the mouth, it's the skin. And if the pores of the skin are open and you heat up your body 1 or 2 degrees, you'll start sweating and toxins come out. See? And we're taking in toxins all the time, and we have to get rid of them also. So the seaweed, by the way, there's proof that when the Japanese got nuked by the United States, Japanese eat a lot of seaweed. It's part of their diet. The ones that were really into it, it protected them from the radiation, because the seaweed leaches out radiation from the cells. That's how powerful it is. And then there are different things that leach out toxins from the body. So if you're taking seaweed on a regular basis, it'll do that. Even stronger than seaweed, but not nutritious, is it's activated charcoal. Yeah. And that's one of the best things in the world for detoxing the body. But it's not nutritious. Whereas the seaweed is nutritious and it also detoxes. Yeah. It's a special thing. I mean, I have it. If you want some, you can try it. It's excellent for taking toxins out of the body and also for stopping acid reflux. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's a black powder, right? And it's very light, so if you're not careful, it'll go all over the place. But you can mix it up with water and drink it. But, you know, you don't have to go there if you're careful with your diet, you know. So that medicinal bath every night, where you exfoliate the body and then you sweat, is extremely good for maintaining health. In fact, I did suggest Viji that she buy. I helped her buy a sauna, and a couple of days ago she thanked me. She said, "You know, we weren't using it, but now my husband and I use it every day, and really we feel great." You know, so but there is a technique that you don't even have to buy a sauna. I can teach you to use your bathtub as a sauna. Right. So this sweating is an important thing. Now, you know, you can go to the gym and sweat in the sauna, but, you know, you're sweating with everybody else's sweat, and they're breathing, and, you know, a gym is a very contaminated place. Now, the gyms that really, you know, emphasize cleanliness, they're a little bit better. But most gyms, they don't clean it during the day. They only clean it when there's nobody there very late at night. So if you go at night, you're getting all the germs from everybody else during the day, you know, and you're going during the day also. In fact, it would be in the coronavirus period, I would never go to a gym because people are breathing heavily, and, you know, if they have the virus, it's a cloud of viruses going all over the place, you know. So I don't know. Did they close the gyms? I think they have. Yeah, because they're extremely dangerous place. Even when no coronavirus, they're dangerous. You know. Okay, so now, if you have a good immune system, you will be healthy, and you'll be able to resist most. When I say resist, it doesn't mean you'll never catch the disease, but you'll be able to let's say, manage it, and you will not be devastated. But someone who has a compromised immune system, they will die very quickly. Even from a normal flu, they'll die, right? So it's not that it's only this virus now. Any virus or any type of bacterial infection can compromise them, and they can die. See, so it's very important whether you're, young or middle-aged or old, to maintain optimal health by promoting those habits that keeps your immune system very strong. Okay, so then, yeah.
Seaweed capsule and seaweed powder.
Yeah.
Are they different or
No.
same?
Yeah. You can get them for me. Okay, so now I wanted to talk more about farming, because a very good farm is actually a pharmacy, not a pharmacy with a P, but a pharmacy with an M, right? So when you're eating nutritionally dense food, that's another way to boost your immune system, where you don't have to eat as much because your body gets all the minerals and vitamins it needs with nutritionally dense food. When you eat junk food, your body doesn't get all the minerals and vitamins that it needs, and therefore, even though you ate a lot, you still feel hungry. Your body is telling you, look, you ate a lot, like a pig, but I didn't get what I need, because what you ate was, junk food. Now, keep eating it until I get what I need. So that's why you have so much obesity in this country, because they're eating so much junk food, and they still feel hungry. In fact, their hunger never goes away. They're like a cow or an animal. The hunger doesn't go. Why? Because they're eating nutritionally depleted food. So it's very important to eat nutritionally dense food. Now, one of the best nutritionally dense foods is milk that hasn't been homogenized, that hasn't been, let's say, processed in any way or diluted in any way, because it has everything in it that's necessary for digestion. Like, for example, you'll have these nutritional charts sometimes, let's say for dry cereals, right? So you'll see, if you eat just a dry cereal, you get so much calcium, so much potassium. But if you mix it with milk, you get so much more of these things, because the milk itself is a superfood. It's not if it's a whole milk. So having a farm with healthy cows and good organic soil will produce first-class food. And by eating such highly nutritious foods, you don't have to eat as much. And your immune system, your digestive system works very well with those foods, and you will be healthy. So this is an important thing, because without nutritionally dense nutritionally dense foods, we will definitely be compromised in our health. We won't be able to digest it properly. And by eating, what I would call Frankenstein foods whose molecules have been altered to make them shelf stable, like hydrogenated oils, like margarine, and a whole bunch of other things. By the way, if you open up a dry cereal that you buy in the store that they advertise usually, and you open up and you just smell it, right? It smells like a pharmacy, unless they have a lot of strawberry flavor or this flavor or that flavor. But if it doesn't have too much flavoring to it, to hide the but it does have, vitamin A, vitamin B, vitamin C, vitamin K, vitamin this, vitamin that, right? They have it on label, nutritionally supported by all these vitamins, right? But if you smell it, it smells like a pharmacy, because those are mostly synthetic vitamins that they add. It's cheaper to add the synthetic ones. Okay, and then they add, the synthetic flavorings like vanillin and strawberry and this flavor and that flavor. So basically, you're getting a pharmaceutical product, and low-class pharmaceutical product. But they claim it's healthy for kids. So kids end up eating the junkiest food in the world. All the kid food is junky. That's why they get sniffles and earaches and eye infections and stomach problems and nowadays children get cancer. It's unbelievable. They get cancer. Okay, so now I wanted to talk a little bit about the importance of the cow and the panchagavya, the 5 products that come from a cow. So number 1 is the gobar, or the cow dung. And cow dung is actually antiseptic and has antibacterial and fungicidal actions. The filtered mixture of cow dung and water can be used as a natural ingredient for creams and ointments, which are useful in serious skin conditions like psoriasis, eczema, and gangrene. That's a filtered mixture of cow dung and water. Sun-dried cow dung is used as a fuel for cooking and all-purpose fertilizer. That's what I use. Right? It may be used as a seed protector and a heat source. Cow dung is naturally hot. When composted, it becomes hotter. It may be put into glass houses to heat them, or run pipes through the cow dung, the hot cow dung, to get hot water. Cow dung has natural antiseptic qualities. It can be used to cover surfaces such as walls, floors, and any surface to keep it pure. Prabhupada speaks about that also. Cow dung is a mud brick additive because it improves resistance to disintegration. It is effective for healing skin problems, and its healing properties are enhanced when mixed with crushed neem leaves. The smoke of cow dung fire is a mosquito repellent. It is also a pond pH balancer. Cow dung is used for cases of malaria, itching, snake bite, burns, dental problems like pyorrhea and cholera. So what do they use exactly? They make cow dung ash. Now, the way you make cow dung ash is you don't just burn it. You have to burn it in a pyrolytic oven. These are ovens that burn downward. They don't burn upward. Right? So they're made in a special way where air goes down inside the oven. I have 2 of them. You can get them in India relatively cheap. And then you put the cow dung in it, and it ends up with cow dung ash. That ash is very antiseptic, very healing for skin problems, for toothpaste, and for many other uses. In summertime, I make it all the time. It can be used for purifying water, and it can be used for healing skin problems, especially when you mix it with neem. The smoke, so cow dung is used for cases of malaria, itching, snake bite, burns, dental problems like pyorrhea and cholera. Cow dung cakes have been traditionally used by villagers in India as a common fuel along with firewood. The cow is the only animal whose dung doesn't have an unpleasant smell. Energy is generated from its manure in the form of methane gas, which can power a gas burner to cook food or an electric generator to produce electricity. Its manure is used as a natural fertilizer, When pure ghee is poured on cow dung fire, oxygen is released into the atmosphere. There you go. Okay, then gomurt, or urine, cow urine. Cow urine has been described in Ayurveda as a therapeutic agent. The use of cow urine therapy is a traditional Ayurvedic practice. It is gaining recognition and acceptability throughout the world due to recent advances in research. Cow urine is very useful for curing jaundice. And it says, Gavyam pavitram cha rasayanam, cha patyam, cha hridyam, balam buddhi syata, ayu pradam rakt vikar hari tridosh, hridrog vishafaham syata. Cow urine is a great elixir, good for stomach disorders, pleasing to the heart, the giver of mental and physical strength, and enhances longevity. It removes all blood disorders. It balances bile, mucus, and airs, and is a remover of heart disease and counteracts the effect of poison. Now, the way they use cow dung, you can drink it directly when the cow urinates. It actually tastes good. It doesn't taste bad at all. Or you can collect it and distill it. And that purifies any toxins that may be in it. Because, usually what they do is every day they wash the backside of the cow with water. And they do it every time they feed the cows. While the cow is feeding, they shower the backside to keep it clean from, dung or urine or any dirt or anything else. And therefore, you can drink directly from a cow who's clean like that. Or, of course, if you don't have a cow, you can get the urine, and what they do is when they prepare it for Ayurvedic use, they distill it, and then let's say you get a little tumbler of cow dung, and then a cow urine, and then you put it in a glass of water or a glass of juice, and you drink it. You don't notice the taste that much. And our Madhava Chandra Prabhu, he had diabetes, and he controls it, or he cured it with cow dung urine by drinking it 3 times a day. Right? Cow urine has 5 tastes: bitter, hot, as in chili, sour, sweet, and salty. It promotes the mode of goodness, sattva guna. It brings goodness in thoughts. By drinking it regularly for 6 months, man's nature comes in the mode of goodness. It destroys the mode of passion and ignorance. It purges out toxins from the whole body through urine, sweating, and stool. It helps to cure psychological diseases. It is unfortunate that people are exploiting the cow to obtain products such as its skin, meat, fat, blood, and bone instead of its milk, urine, dung, which are all potentiated by the gyr cow's ability to capture the energy of the sun with its unique hump in a similar way as photosynthesis in plants. So our cows have that hump, and Western cows don't have it. And in that hump, there's a special nerve that can capture the sun's energy and break it down into glucose and other things that makes the urine, the stool, and the milk very powerful materially. The sun emits many varieties of rays. There are 3 main categories noted by ancient Indian texts: heat, nourishment, and a mysterious ray or energy called Go Kiran in Sanskrit. Human beings can benefit from the first 2 categories of rays. However, only the gyr cow and other purebred Indian cows with a hump are capable of capturing, assimilate, and benefit from Go Kiran energy, which enters the cow's body through its unique hump and is harvested by the Surya Ketu nerve that runs through the spine of the gyr cow. This Go Kiran energy produces gold nanoparticles in the milk, ghee, urine, and dung of the female gyr cow. There you go. That's why we have gyr cows. Among all the different breeds of Indian cows, the Gujarati Gir cow possesses exceptionally remarkable traits. Scientists at the Junagadh Agricultural University in Gujarat State analyzed urine samples of 400 Gir cows. They found traces of pure gold from 3 to 10 milligrams in 1 liter of the Gir cow's urine in the form of gold salts soluble in water. They wrote, "Till now we have heard about the presence of gold in cow urine from our ancient scriptures and its medicinal properties. Since there was no detailed scientific analysis to prove this, we decided to undertake a research on cow urine. We analyzed 400 samples of Gir cow urine and found traces of gold." B.A. Golakia, head of the biotechnology department of Junagadh University, Agricultural University, told the Times of India, "The spectroscopic analysis of Gir cow urine reveals the basis of its remarkable curative powers. Important elemental metals and minerals are present in Gir cow urine. Gold, parts per billion, 321.01. Silver, parts per billion, 1.7. Calcium, parts per billion, 21,823. Iron, parts per billion, 700. Cobalt, parts per billion, 5.71. Zinc, parts per billion, 50.32. Boron, parts per billion, 1,211. Major compounds identified in Gir urine samples and their medicinal properties. Phenol, a potent antimicrobial agent. Phenol 4-methyl, antioxidant. Benzoic acid, an antifungal used as a topical antiseptic and for inhalant decongestants. Benzene acetic acid, a treatment of hyperammonemia. Hydantoin, an anticonvulsant for the treatment of seizure disorders. Phenol 2,4-bis 1,1-dimethyl an intermediate in synthesis of UV stabilizers or antioxidants. Benzamide, for relief of hypertension, asthma, renal, and peripheral circulatory disturbances. Ethanone 1,2-diphenyl, an intermediate that helps the body produce hypnotic and anticonvulsant compounds. The Suryaketu vein, by interacting with solar rays, produces gold salt in the cow's blood. These salts are present in the cow's milk and the cow's other bodily fluids. Vedic cow's milk, butter, and ghee have golden hue. Okay, so we will continue tomorrow. I'll just read one more thing. This is continuing in cow urine. We'll finish that. Cow urine is called Gomurtra or Goark in India. When it is filtered and distilled, it can be used to improve or cure a large number of ailments. Gomurtra contains carbolic acid, which is an anti-germicidal in action. This is why it purifies and has cleansing action. The ancient Vedic scriptures considered Gomurtra as pure. Modern scientific techniques have proved the presence in cow urine of phosphates, nitrogen, urea, uric acid, potassium, and sodium. During the lactation period of a cow, its urine also contains lactose, which has the capacity to improve heart and mental ailments. Gomurtra can do the following things: balance cholesterol levels, an efficient antibacterial agent, reduce body fat, increase white blood cells. White blood cells play an important role in the immune system by protecting the body from infectious agents. Function as an antioxidant which delays the aging process. Serves as a detox agent which is effective to neutralize the toxicity caused by modern drugs and toxic treatments like chemotherapy and radiation therapy. It is employed to cure respiratory disorders and regenerate damaged cells and tissues. The cow whose Gomutra is to be consumed should be young and healthy. It should be fed essentially on natural grass that grows in pastures. One must filter the cow urine through thin, clean, natural cloth before consuming it on an empty stomach early in the morning. One should not eat anything for 1 hour after taking it. Taking in of gomurtra by women during menstruation gives them strength and peace. One should take gomurtra with the advice of an experienced Ayurvedic practitioner. Haribol. Okay, so I'll read one more thing. This is cow dung ash. Wounds on the body of people, especially diabetic patients, become very difficult to heal. Applying cow dung ash on these wounds will heal them. We can apply cow dung ash on any wound because of its antiseptic properties. Cow dung ash is used as a pesticide in agriculture. It can be sprinkled on crops, and even if it falls on food or land, it is beneficial rather than harmful than modern chemical pesticides. Cow dung ash can be used for purifying water. Generally, chlorine or some other chemical is used to purify water of harmful bacteria. Adding chlorine has harmful side effects. So chlorine is in all the water in Sammamish. However, cow dung ash is an excellent water purifier. All harmful bacteria are killed just by adding a pinch or two of cow dung ash to a few liters of water. We have to use cow dung ash that comes from Vedic cows only. This option of adding cow dung ash is so cheap that anyone can afford it. It has absolutely no side effects. Water purified using the cow dung ash is so much cheaper than bottled water, which uses costly methods and machines to be purified. Radiation used in ultraviolet water purifier machines and the depletion of all natural minerals in reverse osmosis water treatment and bottled water are all unhealthy for the human body, whereas the use of cow dung ash is non-toxic and cost-effective. There you are. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Go to Premanandi Haribol.
Whereas the fruits like orange or even lemon,
Yeah.
so they improve the acid state in the body, right?
They're acidic.